Hey guys, if you notice what I have circled here or highlighted, this is the same as hydrochloroquine because the ingredients are the same. The rinds of citrus fruits, 2 to 3 lemons, 2 to 3 grapefruits in the center there. You make this stuff yourself at home. Follow these instructions. And coming up next, I'll show you some other potentials. To see all my live daily content, become a Patreon member. Click on the link on my YouTube channel at the Off-Grid Tiny House. Click on support this channel. It'll take you to the Off-Grid Tiny House page on Patreon, or you can just Google it. Sign up and join in. Thank you. Hey guys, Rob from the Off-Grid Tiny House. Here doing a little walk and talk. It's windy out, so these videos are probably going to be a little suck factor going on. But it's been a while since I've given you guys an update on the Off-Grid Tiny House. Not much has happened really. Still in its new location. I shortly have to pay rent again there. But everything's good, secure, and my mom's pretty much happy with me selling it because she understands the situation. Can't find land legally to put it on. Total pain in the you-know-what. So I cashed out, got what I basically put into it. Basically I got whatever out that I needed. Plus it was a nice learning experience. Got to learn all about solar, living off the grid, all those systems, rain harvesting, rain catching, repairs, leaks, wood stove, everything. So it was a good training course, plus I got my money back out of it. And it was a fun time for that many years. It was a lot of work that I put in, and it was nice. I definitely appreciated it. So not a loss to me at all. So my channel content is probably taken quite a swerve for my regular viewers. But you guys can throw out some stuff in the comments if you like, what you want me to see or what you want to see. I'm going to just keep doing the conspiracy prepping stuff. My videos have been few and far between on Patreon because I've been swamped with work, my day job. And basically the goal now is, and I'm going to cut the camera off for a second because I got to cross this road, and I will get back to you. I'm leaving you with a cliffhanger there. We'll see you in a bit. And we're back. Alright, so the cliffhanger, so the little update here, guys, on the tiny house is, like I said, not much has happened. I gave the lady till April to move it. She's in the process of getting her own property as well to put it on. And she was telling me a little bit of what her plans are. She's got about a budget of $100,000 to spend on purchasing a property. Now, where exactly you can buy a piece of property for that amount of money is probably super way up north where the land is cheap. So that's what I'm assuming is gonna happen. Now the problem with that is, I kind of promised her when she does move it into its permanent location, I would set it up for her. Now, when I said that, I assumed it would be locally. If I got to travel like 6 hours or more across Canada to set this thing up, it's not going to happen for free, I'll tell you that. She's going to have to end up paying me some cash, and I'm going to have to end up staying there overnight with her to run her through the everything, basically, right? So yeah, that'll be something, but I'd have to be getting paid in order for this to happen, and I'm gonna have to figure out that when the details come. But other than that, I'm doing what I'm doing here, guys. So I'm doing my walks again. It's December, mid-December. We've had the strangest weather this year in Canada. Well, the last 2 years, as you guys know, have been pretty bizarre as is. But we had all these, well, Kentucky got all those crazy tornadoes just recently. And mind you, by the time you guys see this, this is going to be super old news. But all that wind and warm temperatures pushed up here to Canada, and I could have wore shorts yesterday in mid-December, which is pretty rare. We have not had much snow this year, which is actually good. It is still windy, it is still cool, super bitter cold, but nothing a Canadian can't handle. This is nothing weather. I don't know the actual temperature, but it's pretty mild. Pretty mild winter. So the nice thing about that is I bundled up the tiny house anyways, so it's actually not catching any water whatsoever because I sealed the gutter intake pipe for the tiny house and drained everything, obviously, for winter. And I have just the only load there running is on my smart switch, which is the electric heater mats. So when you know, the sun comes up in the morning, charges the batteries, and it gets to about 13 volts, my smart switch senses that, turns on the electric heater mat loads to warm up the batteries, and then they basically maintain the batteries throughout winter. And for nighttime, when the sun does go down, I have it preset on the smart switch, so if the batteries hit 12.8 volts, it kills the power to the electric heater mats until the next day when it hits 13 volts again. So I got it on like a cycle that saves the batteries and just keeps bare minimum them warm and cozy in there. I'm gonna have to pause the camera. We got some locals up here. And we're back. So guys, this is my first day off in a hell of a long time, which is good. That means I'm making money. But yeah, so the big cliffhanger I kind of alluded to last clip, or last couple video clips, was my game plan, and I mentioned it early on in my prepping videos, prepping for the future and future plans on my YouTube channel. My main plan is to relocate. I want to relocate long term out of the city, find a little country property. Does not have to be a farm whatsoever, but out in the country, a house with no close neighbors. I know that's hard to come by nowadays, but it'll allow me the freedom to do my little off-grid thing, restart my off-grid project. Now, the reasoning for doing that is, one, the cities are basically turning into hellholes, and everybody knows as a prepper, you don't want to really be in the city when shit hits the fan. And basically, we've been living in a shit hit the fan for 2 years now, thanks to the bonehead administration. And I am completely baffled why China is not a crater right now. But then again, they are controlling a lot of puppets up in the government. World Health Organization, the UN, the bonehead administration, obviously. My country, in Canada, Mr. China File Trudeau. It's ridiculous, guys. We got a lot going on, and it's kind of been a nightmare that I lost the tiny house at this particular time, because I was just getting it bundled in, getting a lot done on it, and then I had to end up having to move it and finally having to sell it because I just don't have the property for the tiny house. And that's my story. That's been my story from the start. It's been quite a pain. And I've told friends and stuff, I'm like, guys, I told them when I started the YouTube channel, actually, get off the grid, get a tiny house, and look at us now, guys. Fast forward to the bonehead administration. We have the crappiest government running things, and both of our countries are being run to the ground. When I talk about America, I'm talking about Canada too, because basically they're in the same bed together with China. Home prices out of this world, redonkulous. Land prices just the same. Apartment, good luck. Most people can barely just pay their rent. Wages slowly going up, but decades behind where they should be. Inflation on the rise worldwide because the governments are purposely cratering everything to, make China the new superpower. However, China's got some other issues going on that are pretty major, and that will be affecting us shortly into the new year. Okay? So what's going on is China has this company called Evergrande, or Evergrande, I should say. And sorry about the noise, guys. Somebody's leaf blowing over here. But this company basically went defunct, and they got their hands into so much crap that it's going to make the 2008 housing market crash that happened in the States look pretty tame. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. You're going to hear about a lot of shit going down the river here shortly, guys. So just hang in there. But look that up, the Evergrande Chinese corporation or whatever. Look it up for yourselves. Just don't believe me. And guys, it's gonna get super scary. Now, one thing I gotta say is I still have all my prepping gear other than my solar panels, my lithium batteries, and that stuff that came with the tiny house or was installed in the tiny house. But I do have a lot of things for the future. So I have a lot of switches, I have a lot of inverters, I have a lot of heavy gauge wire as well, and I know I have the know-how now thanks to some good buddies online, Graham and High Tech I-18 and others, kind of teaching me as I went the solar electricity aspect. And then there's plenty more than that. There's all my Patreon members, past, future, and present. Sorry about the wind, guys. But that is going on and going down. And it's pretty wild stuff. So it's quite a predicament I'm in, because I just lost my off-grid kind of retirement setup slash bug out cabin. And it is what it is, guys. You gotta have your own property or you're SOL from the start. So getting land is the biggest thing. Getting rural land where nobody bugs you is the thing. Having land with a well on it or a stream running through it, bonus, huge bonus. You guys know all the prepping things you gotta look for, so I shouldn't really have to tell you these things, but it is what it is. So that's what's going on, and it's a whole lot. All right. So I recently posted a video about dandelion root or dandelion leaf extract, and actually there is some truth to that, because when my dad was going through cancer, we tried a lot of stuff: dandelion root tea, licorice root tea, and I still have a lot of, we went through all of the dandelion root tea already, but I do have a lot of the licorice root tea still put back, and I've been drinking that. But the thing with licorice root, guys, and licorice in general, is you don't want to take too much of it, because there is a downside effect. I know there's quite a few stories I've seen, people overeating licorice and then they end up in the hospital. So, you know, you want to pace that out. But what I did, I ordered on Amazon some organic dandelion leaf extract pill form, as well as loose leaf organic dandelion leaves for tea that I can make, because I figure what's going to happen is everybody is going to have to eventually get this Rona, get over it themselves. And how you do that, stay out of the hospital. So if you can treat yourself at home with you know, the wealth of knowledge I've been putting out there, and everybody else has been putting out there, you know, horse paste, aka ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, which is Canada Dry Tonic Water, and I'm going to try this dandelion leaf extract as well. It's supposedly supposed to stop the spike protein from attaching to your cells. It just kind of bats it away, or gives it a little shield, a barrier. So that is the plan. I'm going to try that along with everything else I have. And then I have colloidal silver as well. So I'm going to do a variety of stuff, which is basically throw the kitchen sink at it. I will not be doing the antibodies, because we can't get those here in Canada, as far as I know. So, yeah. And, you know, it's not good. It's not a good situation. My dad recently had a urinary tract infection, which he's already seen the doctor for, and they give him some antibiotics for. He's been sucking back cranberries, cranberry juice as well, and I found a nice cranberry extract for him, and yeah, it seems to be helping him quite a bit. But the thing is, with everything going on, it took like 2 weeks to get in to see the family doctor, and that's kind of unheard of. And he actually didn't even see our family doctor. He saw our doctor has a daughter who is also a certified doctor. He had to see her because our family doctor was so booked up, and his wife's a doctor as well. And they were so booked up, guys, with all the after effects going on of you know what going around, and you know those jabs going around, that yeah, things are not looking good. I really have high praise for all the healthcare workers, but I'm still not convinced on this jab whatsoever. It is kind of insane, and it's pretty funny how many people who actually fell for this, and once it's in you guys, it's permanent. There's no on-off switch for it. Sorry to say. So yeah, so basically I'm gonna go the natural immunity route. I'm gonna beat this thing, but I'm gonna throw the kitchen sink at it with, you know, hydrochloroquine, ivermectin, dandelion leaf tea extract, whatever, super supplement vitamins, all that fun stuff, you know, zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D, all that stuff. And I watched I follow Dr. Group on YouTube, and he's really good, and he did a recent interview talking to another doctor, and they were talking about how, just a second, they were talking about how the vitamin D that's currently recommended is so low and subpar that no wonder there's all kinds of issues going on. So this doctor kind of experimented on himself and found out a whole bunch of stuff that he was taking, like, I don't know the actual numbers, but he was taking like 10 times the amount of vitamin D that they're recommending, the standard. And now his only warning with that is you have to take magnesium supplements with high vitamin D supplements, because they go hand in hand, and if you don't have enough magnesium when you're taking high vitamin D, then it's going to lead to other health issues. So just remember that, guys, if you are going to try that. Just crank up your magnesium intake. I'm no healthcare professional, whatever. Do your own research. It's at your own risk. Blah, blah, blah. Alrighty, guys, getting back to the talk here, the walk and talk. So, like I was saying, if you were, you know, suckered into getting those shots, kind of feel bad for you, because they're never going to end. They're pushing up to 7 shots now for boosters, and if you don't take them, they take away your, you know, your abilities you signed on for, like eating in restaurants because you took a medical procedure, traveling because you took a medical procedure. So yeah, very dangerous times. So guys, there's a meme out there which is I found hilarious because it's so true, because of the way things are going. It says what's the difference between the unvaxxed and vaccinated people? They'll never ever be safe, or something like that along those lines, because for the unvaxxed, we just get it, get over it, have natural immunity. But for the vax people, they're always going to have to rely on shots for the rest of their lives in order to go travel and do what you guys normally like to do: sit in a restaurant, go to a ball game, blah 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 blah, you name it. I, for one, was never interested in any of that stuff anyways, though I do miss going to see movies at the movie theater, but now with all the streaming and stuff we have, it's really not that bad. Just miss the popcorn and stuff there, you know, the atmosphere, the previews for new movies coming out, stuff like that. But if that's all I got to give up, that's nothing. I can no longer travel, which is a big thing. Can't go on a vacation, which sucks. But, you know, while I had the tiny house, I used that as my vacation hotspot during this whole pandemic and lockdown. So I was there chilling, relaxing, having a good time. I was either there working or staying over, just chilling out, relaxing, movies on, whatever. It was great. I love it. But now that that's over, like I said, the world is a lot different. I hope a lot more people are waking up, and I know they are. But guys, look at Australia, dude. And even here in Canada, there's leaked video of these quarantine hotels, which are horrendous, but not as horrendous as what's going on in Australia. And guys, the reason this shit is going on is where the politicians outcry over what's going on in other people's countries like Australia. I didn't see Trudeau up there or any of the politicians in Canada saying, what the hell's going on in Australia? We're going to condemn you, sanctions, whatever. It never happened. And I got to cross this road, so I'm going to pause right here. And we're back. So recently on the political news in Canada, we have our premier's called Doug Ford, and I made a video way back when he basically betrayed the country by saying, like, at first he says at first he stood up for every Canadian, but then the pressure came in from up above, aka Trudeau, and he said, you better play ball or there's going to be some shit going on. I don't know exactly what happened, but he gave in, and that's when he lost all my trust and confidence. However, his daughter, which is hilarious, is wide awake and has been making videos for social media. Doug Ford's daughter, you guys can Google that or DuckDuckGo that, more likely, because everything else is banned. And she's totally awake to everything going on. And they were saying on the news, you know, the propaganda mainstream media, or most likely the corporate media is what you can call it now, because it's all controlled. But they're saying, well, Doug Ford's not going to be reelected because his daughter's so outrageous, talking about this, that, and the other, about she's an anti-vaxxer. Well, no shit, guys. Anybody who has critical thinking should be. Have you ever seen the government pushing a drug 24/7 for 2 years more than this ever in your lifetime? No. It's completely new, it's rare, and it's insane. Meanwhile, there's natural and treatments already out there that are very affordable, that work and have been proven to work thousands of times, even by famous people, you know, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, all them. Stuff works, guys, and it works quickly. Okay, so that's why I'm sticking to their regimen, because 1, it's safe as shit. 2, you never get to see the inside of a hospital. And 3, they're not gonna put you on a ventilator and then you're donezo. All right. Now my buddy online, Milwaukee, he actually caught it somewhere from his dad, he thinks, and he said it was a rough flu for took him 2 weeks to get over it. He lost his taste and his smell and the whole 9 yards. But he didn't need to go to the hospital. He just toughed it out naturally. So as far as I know, he's all good from what he told me just last night. Some people, depending on your health, it hits a lot harder because you probably got other stuff going on. So, you know, it's a cautionary tale, guys. You want to give up your freedoms to comply with tyranny, that's up to you. And you know you did that if you got the shot. I know people who got sick and got the shot afterwards because they said it was horrible. Well, the problem with that is, guys, the side effects of this stuff is insane. And if it's so safe, why, oh why, did they block the releasing of the files on it for 55 years, which has then now been extended to 75 years before it hits the public? Well, by then everybody will be dead who took the shot, obviously, right? So, but one judge did stand up and said, no, you're going to release these month by month at a monthly basis. You can look up everything I'm saying, it's happening. They've already released 86 pages of the horror of these shots so far, the first week, okay? That's 86 pages of this document of reportings of what happens when you get the shot. Now, there's every month they're going to release about the same amount of pages, and it's all one giant document because the government loves documentation. Paperwork. They're in love with paperwork. Everybody knows that. Why hide it? Oh, everybody on TV, oh, it's so safe, it works so great. Why hide what's the cover-up about then, guys? What's going on? Yeah, they say one thing, and then behind the scenes they're doing that. But luckily we got some decent judges still, and this was a guy in the States, obviously, and they released the first 86 pages, which I posted to the survival group page online. It was a PDF format. Every month they're going to release a new PDF to the public to add to that. And there's so much documentation, it adds up to, when they release them month by month, it actually releases fully in 77 years. By the time all this paperwork is fed through year after year, month after month. So they're playing games, and unfortunately, if you've taken it, I don't know what's going to happen to you. They do, and they're trying to hide that in documentation from the public. So, yeah. So I don't wish any ill will to anybody, but I'm just saying, you guys have been suckered, and suckered hard. If you guys want to throw your life away that easy, that's entirely up to you. It's your choice. You made it. Now you got to live with it. Unfortunately, my parents got scared into it, and they got the double jab. My brother did as well, for work, to keep his job. Fortunately for me, I don't have a boss telling me I have to do this and that. I'm self-employed. But I never had to deal with any of that, though I lost a lot of freedoms. Anyways, and you guys all did too, basically, because if you don't comply with the never-ending booster shots, then they're going to take away your passport and you won't be able to do anything. You'll be just like me, except your health and immune system will be compromised. And yeah. So, pretty sick, guys. What a world we live in. Pretty scary. So, and then within all that, I lost the tiny house, and had to sell it. And now I am saving up to buy a little piece of heaven out of the cities, away from this crazy. So I will go full homesteading, hardcore. But I'll still be close enough to keep my day job, to keep the bills paid, type of deal. And, you know, at least I know Starlink and other things work, and I know my off-grid stuff now, so I can set up a little thing out there. I'm going to talk about that more just a sec. See you in a bit. Alrighty guys, we are back, and wanted to talk about my game plan again. So like I said, I mentioned, gonna save up, try to get a little country property. Could be a little rundown house, whatever. Preferably no close neighbors, and enough room for me to drop down a Amish built shed. I'm gonna have to buy an Amish shed that you see a lot of off-gridders and homesteaders live in. Those I'm gonna try to get the larger one, put it on the property, convert it, make it livable, completely off the grid, and then I'm gonna rent out the main house as another income to help pay off, you know, the house or mortgage or whatever I gotta do in order to get that property. And that is the game plan, guys. Charge like somebody $2,000 or $1,500 to rent a month in there, pay for everything plus utilities, and I'll be on the property, away from the house obviously, in the Amish shed, living off the grid, doing my own thing. And that is my game plan for the future, because the future looks grim unless we get some real change going on in government, and I think it's coming. I'd like to personally thank all the people who voted the bonehead in. You know who I'm talking about, Joe Biden and Trudeau. You have to sleep in the bed you made now, guys. The economy sucks. The world sucks. Inflation, high gas prices, high food prices, high living prices, cost of living, and it's only going to get worse. And you guys voted for that shit because you're unaware of what's going on. You think the Democrats are great when they're the fucking devil, and you are brain dead, brainwashed and brain dead at the same time. Now, not to mention they had to steal it from Trump, because if Trump was able to, well, he was elected because they had to stop the voting. That when they stopped the voting the night of the election, which has never been done before, he won in all categories. But then, we gotta let all these mail-in ballots in, and then you saw the fraud just shoot right up, and that's how they got that shit in there, the bonehead in there, Mr. Dementia pedophile patient in there, and now you're getting what you deserve. You think he's running the show, guys? If you really think that, you're stupider than you look, okay? The dude's reading teleprompters, and he can hardly comprehend when to stop. There's so many occasions where he reads the teleprompter and it says end of message, or and he reads that, or stop here, or whatever. And he's going around shitting himself in front of world powers, like in the UK for their little get together. Meanwhile, nobody's wearing a mask. So it's pretty funny. It is sad and funny at the same time. But they had to get rid of Trump, guys, because think about it. If Trump stayed in power, none of this shit would have went through. Trump would have said, Trump would have gave everybody the big F you and said, no, we're not doing mandates, we're not doing lockdowns. That shit's over. And that's the end of it. Because obviously it doesn't work. And it's still not working. Because guess what? They left the airplanes flying throughout the entire pandemic. And how do you think these fucking viruses are getting into the country, guys? I'm gonna repeat this again so you might have a clue. They left international air travel going, and and national air travel going throughout the entire pandemic. Now, if I was somebody in power with brains, you'd think you'd know how the shit is traveling into the country, right? And there's always the land border, but guess what? The land border, you know, there's only so many international countries here in North America that can cross the land border. So you can kind of narrow shit down as to where stuff's coming in from. But once you get off a plane in an airport with that crowd of people, you think this shit's spreading like a bitch, you better believe it, every which way in the world. Now, the next thing, masks. If they worked, do you really think we'd be into wave 5, wave 4, wave 100, and all this horse shit? No, they never work from the start, and they still don't. I don't understand why the scientific community doesn't fall in line, but the virus guys, you know, the sickness going on, the size of it is a lot smaller than the fabric of any mask you wear, unless you're wearing a full-on tank respirator. That's a sealed system, okay? This is 101 basics, and I've been saying this forever. Now, when I go grocery shopping, I have to conform like a good little slave, put my mask on, get my stuff, and get the hell out of there as quickly as I can. And that's what I do. But it's ridiculous because it does absolutely nothing, and you don't see me out here walking with a mask on. That's a big F you to that. So I love my video chats here. I get to vent to the public about all the crazy twilight zone that we're living in. So those masks and shots are really working well, eh guys? They're talking boosters now because why need a booster if they work? Oh, that's because they don't work and they're not a vaccine, they're a gene therapy, which which you guys are gonna find out shortly what does to your body long term if you got the shot. Now, fortunately, I don't know this for sure, but I'm gonna assume my Rick Simpson oil that I've been treating my parents with from the get-go is going to keep them going and keep them fine. Obviously doesn't work for urinary tract infections because my dad's experiencing that now and has to treat it with antibiotics, but pretty crazy. Anyway, they did labs on them anyway, so they'll check it all out and see if it's anything else. But I'm hoping the Rick Simpson oil keeps my family, my brother, my parents, and anybody else who took my advice and made their own safe and happy from the shots, okay? So that is the story, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm taking it as a preventative of all kinds of stuff, like diabetes, like cancer, like other things. However, the latest batch I made, I made those new concentrate videos where the coconut oil looks pretty green, and I mixed in different little, well, I made it a little, it's pretty potent, and I made it a little too strong for my liking. I'll put it that way. So I might have to go back to the white stuff and then just get some, just put a little bit of the dropper in of each, go from there. Yeah, it's just incredible. But anyways, what else is going on? I've been living, a lot of my friends have been asking what I've been up to because they don't see me. They don't see me anymore, and I don't blame them to ask what's going on. But I I've been kind of basically a shut-in, going hermit style a little bit during all this, because you know, cases are up in our area, and you know me, I'm taking my precautions. Mind the wind, guys. I can't do anything about that. But I've been basically working, coming home, and rarely going out for either groceries or food, and that's it. And that's why my friends don't see me anymore, because that's the way it is till shit gets under control, and I don't think it ever will. I'm very convinced we're all gonna have to just get the Rona, get over it, beat it naturally, and that's it. But if you have your jabs and you get the Rona and you beat it, the problem with that is there's going to be a lot of issues, because that means you still have to get the shots in order to have your passport and all that horse shit. So it's a little bit crazy. Just a second here. Sorry about that, guys. Somebody was playing music as they walk, fairly loud, so I didn't get no copyright strike. Sorry. Whatever. Each their own. So yeah, like I said, I've been kind of in hermit mode. Working, going for groceries occasionally, going out occasionally, coming home, stream some shows, rinse and repeat. And what a wonderful life. No vacation in sight either, because that's not happening for me anytime soon. And you know, the funny part is, I get signs once in a while. I'm not saying I'm psychic or anything, but when we were on our cruise, our final cruise, and it was awesome. Going back, we were all up pretty late that night, and there was, we went up onto the top deck of the cruise, and it was pitch black at night, eh? Because, you know, you're out in the ocean, right? And it was our, you know, we were kind of, that was our last night on the boat. And as we were coming back into shore, we had a big thunderstorm over the ocean just off to our left side of the boat. And I've never seen that ever before. And it's kind of like one of those omen deals, right? And like while we were on the boat, obviously we were getting the early reports of the Rona, with the Chinese people getting welded into their houses and all their crap going on. And you know, I just had that feeling at that time while watching that thunderstorm in the middle of the ocean, pitch black, on a giant cruise ship, giant city at sea. And because I've never seen that before, that was pretty awesome. But it was just that feeling, you know, I knew shit was coming, and I knew at that point this is our last cruise before any of this lockdown and all this other horse shit came in. And it just happened that way. And you guys can think, oh yeah, right, Rob, whatever. But occasionally I get signs like that, and that's just the way it is. You can believe whatever you want, because I could care less. The trolls who do troll my channel are pretty pathetic anyways. Dumber than a box of rocks, but that's them. The sad part about my trolls on this channel is they waste their life to try to put my channel down and spend time on my channel, which is kind of funny, because they're actually, by watching my videos, they're wasting their own life. They could be doing something a lot funner than that. Just saying, just putting that out there. So it is what it is. I get a riot out of them though. They're funny. Their comments don't last long. You know, one thing I gotta say about these trolls though too, which I find hilarious, how even YouTube does that, but since they've been kind of hounding me on a regular basis, I've actually been making more money on my channel, which is hilarious. So hey, if they want to keep paying me, it's funny. But anyways, it's just the way weird things work out like that. But don't worry guys, I'll keep making my prepping videos, and I will keep you up to date on the tiny house and everything like that. It is what it is. And oh, somebody with a baby coming up here. I'm gonna have to shut the camera off again. That's nice. Mother taking out a baby to get some fresh air and check out nature. Get some vitamin D, get some fresh air. That's what it's all about. See you in a bit. Off they go in their stroller. So cool. Anyways, this Christmas, guys, you know, another hellish lockdown Christmas. I'm just giving my family cash, and they can get whatever they want. Now, I know here in Canada, Cyber Monday, Black Friday were complete jokes this year because corporations got greedy, and instead of giving everybody deals on product, there were absolutely no deals. Everything was regular price. And I looked through every flyer that they sent to the house and could not find one item that was a deal. So yeah, I didn't spend any money this Boxing Day or Cyber Monday, and I'm sure I'm not the only one because they said that. They even had to report that on the propaganda news. So yeah, sorry folks, but corporations are just trying to you know, make their revenue back up from all these lockdowns and such. But you know, it's never gonna end at this point. It's pretty depressing, but I got high hopes. Things aren't lost yet, but we do have around the corner, I was talking about the Chinese issues we're gonna have here shortly. Evergrande is one of the major recent ones we're gonna have the effects globally seen, because China has their hands in everything. The corrupt little monkeys they are. And the next thing is, China's got a hard-on for Taiwan, Vietnam, and a couple other little Asian islands they want. And word on the street is, guys, the CCP, if you don't know what that is, look it up, wants Xi, the leader, to take over Taiwan by within a year. And I'm sure that's going to go over really well with the rest of the world. So recently the Democrats are trying to distract, saying, oh, we got to nuke Russia. Russia this, Russia that. The sun came up this morning because of Russia. We got to get after those guys. It's insanity. The Democrats are an insane bunch of people. I've been saying that for years. If you guys can't see it, then you're part of the problem. You can hit that unsubscribe button on my channel. I don't want to have anything to do with you because you're fast asleep and on the wrong side. Anyways, it's quite the ordeal we got. So they're planning on, right now Ukraine is the big war scene, and what they want, what's basically going to happen is NATO has a hard-on for Ukraine, even though Russia owns it. Has for years, has forever. Okay? So they're going to stir up some kind of big war event in Ukraine, giving China time to take over Taiwan, blah, 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 while that's going on, so they don't have to take on the full brunt of the United States. They're trying to divide and conquer. And so far, that's what people are saying is going to go down. Whether or not that happens, we will see shortly in the future. Pretty crazy, guys. Pretty crazy. Oh, the latest. Bend the knee to China. The US and Canada. We're going against China. We're going to boycott the Olympics there. For one thing, this is all over a female tennis star in China that said she was whatevered by one of the Chinese politicians there, and then she ended up disappearing. And then they gave some kind of deep fake proof of her still being alive to the public, which was a joke. And then China. So the big thing was the US and Canada are like, oh, we're gonna boycott the Olympics. Meanwhile, China should be a crater right now. The entire country is smoking crater because of you know what that they released to the world that we're still dealing with to this day, because the governments sure as fuck don't know what they're doing. And I can tell you that for sure. If you were on an island, let's say for an example, and a pandemic broke out on other islands around the world, and you didn't shut off the only access to your island via air travel during this worldwide pandemic, how smart would you be? Just asking for a friend, asking for the US government, asking for the Canadian government. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with, guys. Bozos. Oh, Rob, how could you say that about the air industry? Well, when a bioweapon's released, guys, that's an act of war. And our countries aren't really acting very warlike against the chinks. So the air industry, in my opinion, if I was in charge, and I've mentioned this before, they could either stop doing what they're doing and go bust, or convert all their passenger jets to cargo only travel, and then they can stay in business. Oh my. Now, I don't know about you, but canceling air travel except for cargo shipments would make a whole lot of sense. Because what do you have? You have your pilots and you have your cargo. And when they land, when your plane lands, they would have, you know, a little separate area for the pilots to get off safely without being in contact with anything. And then the workers can safely unload the product and keep things moving. But having passengers move all over the world during a pandemic is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. And if you don't think so, I don't know where your head's at. Because obviously these shots aren't working, because they're recommending up to 7 boosters. You're even talking 10. So if the shit don't work the first time, as well as the masks, what do you you really think it's going to work the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th time? If they can't do it right the first time, are you really going to allow that into your body? You know, somebody builds you a house and you know, the foundation crumbles and this wall's leaning this way and this wall's leaning that way, well, you're gonna rehire that person, right, to keep working, keep paying them? Or are you gonna get something else totally and just do it yourself? Yeah, think about it, guys. We're living in such insane times that I can't wrap my head around it, but that just shows you how much the public is dumbed down and brainwashed. I'll tell you what, sometimes it feels like I'm the only sane person on the planet, because I actually think, instead of, well, the government said this, so we got to do this, or the Pfizer executive did this and wants you to take this, that, and the other, and he's making gazillions of dollars. Meanwhile, the CEO of Pfizer has not taken one fucking shot that they produced themselves. You can go look that up. He said that in an interview. And none of his board members have taken any of the shots as well. He mentioned that as well. So, who's the sucker, guys? These guys are getting extremely rich. And, oh, did I mention, most of the Congress and government over here in Canada has invested in these vaccine companies because they made a deal. We're gonna mandatory push all this shit on the public and get filthy rich. And it's all about your health, right, guys? Oh no, it isn't. Because if they actually came out with a cure for something, it'd be one and done, game over. But instead, you know, Big Pharma, well, I'll just keep taking these pills forever and maybe it'll work. That way they keep the money, the bankroll coming in. So that's what's going on here, guys. They're making you drug dependent for life and for you to be able to have your freedoms that you normally did before in 2019 when there was no bullshit going on. Think deep and hard about that. They're making you drug dependent because think about it, guys. Corporations it's their main duty, their number one goal is to make money year after year, more money year after year. Not to lose money, not anything else. Second comes safety, so they don't get their ass sued off. Not the other way around. And that is the moral of the story. We're living it right now, whether you see it or not. Why do you think marijuana has been illegal for so long? When it was completely legal back in the 1900s, 1200s, whatever, 1800s, in every pharmacy known to man, and was helping people, but then they had to make it illegal because, oh shit, they did a study, they found out it cures cancer, cures this, cures that. Oh, can't have that. Big Pharma can't make any money if you're growing it, processing it, and making your own medicine at home. They're not involved. They make zero. So that's what we're dealing with. I'm the kind of person who liked those connect the dot games and books growing up. And then when you connect enough dots, guys, you get to see the big picture of what the hell you're looking at. Like a puzzle, right? And you know, you do enough research, you see the bullshit on both sides, and then you get to see your big picture of what's really going on. And I know these videos are kind of ranty, they're long, we got bad audio with the wind, but it is what it is. I'm out in Mother Nature walking, and that's what it is. But I'm pretty, you know, I gotta say, pretty disappointed in a lot of population of the country who got suckered into taking this stuff. It's not good. And you know, it is what it is. We'll find out when the rest of those documents are released in 77 years. But they are coming out once a month with like a stack of them, all the way up until 77 years from now. So that tells you how transparent they are on how safe this stuff is. And meanwhile, there's no, how long is it going to be before you see each booster paperwork? Another 77 years on top of each one of those? Yeah, sounds really transparent and safe to me. The problem with it all is the scientists got told, if you don't go along with us, you lose funded, you lose all your funding, you're out of a job, and it's game over. And that's how they hold scientists by the balls. If you're not getting money, you're out of business. So they got to go along with whatever quack science is out there, like global warming, to stay in business. And that's the way it is. Sorry about that.